mentioned, the subject of the shiur is Yemei Ben HaMetzarim. Just a few days ago, on Sunday, we just fast the fast of the 17th of Tammuz. And Chazal tell us, in a Gemara in Masechet Ta'anit, page 28, folio 2, Chazal tell us that 5 misfortune things happened to the Jewish people in Yud Zayin B'Tammuz. They're all in different time, not in the same time, in different era. And we go through them. I want to explain them specially, and then we'll see what the Rambam say, and then we'll explain the idea of the 3 weeks. So let's start with the first one. The first one that happened, Shbirat HaLuchot. That means that the first tablet that Moshe Rabbeinu brought down from heaven, when Moshe Rabbeinu came down from the mountain, it was Yud Zayin B'Tammuz, the 17th of Tammuz. He saw that Bnei Israel actually joined the Erev Rav by celebrating the golden calf. When Moshe Rabbeinu saw that, we all know what's happened. He break the luchot. He break the tablet. The second thing that happened, it was during the time of the second temple, it was the siege that they put on Yerushalayim. And they stop the Korban HaTamid. Everyone understand what is Korban HaTamid? Yes, everyone understand. Good. So what's happened then? Chazal tell us in 2 different Gemarot, in Masechet Sotah, page 49-2, folio 2, and also in Masechet Baba Kama, 82-2. The Gemara explained there what's happened. What's happened during that time? That was the siege around the city of Yerushalayim, that Chazal explained that they used to bring, it used to be one of the avodot, one of the work that the Kohanim used to do is to bring, to sacrifice Korban HaTamid. But the Gemara there explained that what happened, that during that time that Yerushalayim was underneath the siege, every day the Kohanim used to drop a full box with dinarim. Dinarim is coin, some of them gold coin, whatever it was. And they used to buy from the Roman 2 sheep, and they used to use those sheep as Korban HaTamid. Until one day, a wicked Roman old man came, and he said to him, if you're going to carry on allowing the Kohanim to sacrifice those 2 sheep, you will never manage to conquer Yerushalayim. What are you doing? The Roman took it seriously, and they decided the following days, after the Kohanim dropped a full box of dinarim, dinarim again, it's coin, it's money, dropped it down, they decided to put inside the box that they used to put the box of the sheep, they put a pig. And when the Jewish people lift up that box, when that box reached to a half of the height of the wall, Chazal tell us that the pig put his claw and his nails on a wall that's surrounding the city of Yerushalayim, and the entire Eretz Israel is dazah, it means got shaken. And from that day, stop the Korban HaTamid. That's happened again in the 17th of Tammuz.
Sorry, just explain the Korban HaTamid, another Korban, but what?
It was all different Korbanot, but every day was a Korban that they used to bring in the morning and in the evening. It's a special Korban HaTamid. It's the permanent. Tamid, it means permanent. That they used to sacrifice every day. That's what it means. So again, they stopped it in 17th of Tammuz. That's the second one. The third one, that the enemy managed to break the wall of Yerushalayim and enter the city of Yerushalayim. Yerushalayim have a wall surrounded. They managed to break in. The fourth thing that happened, that they put a statue inside Hechal HaKodesh. That means inside Bet HaMikdash, in the Hechal, they put a statue. The third thing that happened, Apostomus Arasha, he was one of those of the army officer that been sent. He burned the Torah. He burned our Torah in Yud Zayin B'Tammuz. So those are the 5 different things, misfortune that happened in Yud Zayin B'Tammuz. Just remember, they never happen all in one time. They happen all in different times. Okay. So those are the 5 things that happened to Bnei Israel on that time. That's why we fast Yud Zayin B'Tammuz. But we said that we're not going to speak only about Yud Zayin B'Tammuz. We're going to speak about the 3 weeks. And we know that from Yud Zayin B'Tammuz, the 17th of Tammuz, until Tisha B'Av, they call Yemei Ben HaMetzarim. Yemei Ben HaMetzarim, that means that we're mourning. What are we mourning about? That's the question that we have to ask ourselves. Are we mourning about the building, the Mikdash? Are we mourning about the city? Are we mourning about that there is no more korbanot? What is it that we're mourning? Did you ask yourself? I mean, okay, so Bet HaMikdash destroyed, the Luchot got broke, many things happened to us. But why Davka 3 weeks? So to understand that, let's go to the Rambam. The Rambam explained it very, very nicely. The Rambam, in Ilchot Ta'anit, in Perek Aleph, chapter 1, Halacha Gimel, that means Halacha Gimel, Halacha 3, number 3, he explained like this, that the main reason that we're fasting in a fast day is to do Hishbon Nefesh. What is Hishbon Nefesh? Hishbon Nefesh is a counting of the soul. Nachon? So are we doing in those 3 weeks, from Yud Zayin B'Tammuz until Tisha B'Av, include Tisha B'Av, do we do a counting of the soul? Number 2, the Rambam say that it's very important also to do tshuva, repentance. Number 3, that the Rambam said that it's very important for us that not only just to regret about what we done. It's one thing to regret, but it's not good that we regret and we're going to redo them. The Rambam say that the main thing that a person has to do is not just to regret, it's also not to return back to his bad deeds. That's the Rambam. But we have to understand, is that all? Is that what is it about, the 3 weeks? Is that what are we mourning? We'll see that it's much more deep. There is much more depth to it. And now I'm going to bring what the Torah tells us in Sefer Shmot, in Parashat Truma, in chapter 25, verse 8. The Torah says something very interesting, and we're going to link it to ourselves. The Torah tells us there, ועשו לי משכן ושכנתי בתוכו. That means that the Torah tells us that HaKadosh Baruch Hu asked us to build a Mishkan. A Mishkan is Bet HaMikdash. It's just that Bet HaMikdash couldn't be built in Bamidbar, but it was exactly the same. The holiness was the same. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu asked us to build a special place, the Mikdash, the temple, that he can dwell there. What does it mean, can dwell there? Live there. Live there. You said that he lived there. Okay, let's see if he just lived there. In a Mishkan or not. But I'm going to bring now what it's mentioned in Tikkunei HaZohar. In Tikkunei HaZohar, 137:1, it says something very interesting. It said that every human being, listen to that, in every human being, there is a mikdash inside his heart. Do we understand it? No. I repeat it. In every human being, in every one of us, there is a mikdash in his heart. I'll explain that. It's very complicated. I'll explain, Brian. The Gemara in Masechet Nedarim tell us something else. Remember, we spoke about mikdash, huh? The Gemara in Masechet Nedarim, page 32, folio 2, tell us something a bit more. The Gemara said that in every human being, okay, every human being is like a city. So inside our heart, there is a mikdash. And a man is like a city. What's the connection? Are we mourning for the stone and for the mortar that broke? We'll see that not that what we came to mourn for those 3 weeks. Hazal come to tell us here, to teach us something very important. That in every one of us, there is a mikdash. In every one of us is like a city. That means exactly what God destroyed, what God burned. There is in each one of us. It's just that we have to change that spark to wake up, to understand that it's time for us, and during those 3 weeks, to do a counting of the soul, to sit, to understand what we lost. You know, when you speak to someone, you say the Bet HaMikdash got burned on 9 Be'av, Tisha B'Av. Do we understand that? You say it was so many years ago, you know, it's very difficult for me to relate to it. No, it's very difficult. But did you try to do a counting of the soul to understand what we lost? The prosperity that we have? The brocha that we have? Absolutely. Not only that, I'm not talking about us as a Jew. We explained last week that the Gemara tells us in Masechet Hagigah that in Chag HaSukkot, they used to bring 70 different sacrifices that they used to be for the 70 nations. That the prosperity, not only just for us, it's for all the world. We lost it all today. We don't understand that. We don't have it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu tell us for a minute, stop. Take 3 weeks. Do a counting of the soul. Sit and think what you lost. And Hazal tell us that if Bet HaMikdash didn't build in our days, sorry?
We are responsible.
We as responsible to what's happened then. Because if we would be better, it will be built in our days. So that's what we take, 3 weeks. We mourning. It doesn't make a difference. Today, a friend of mine asked me, can I have a shave? There is any leniency. As a matter of fact, there is plenty leniency for shaving. According to the Sfaradim, okay, only the week, Shavua Shechal Bo, you're not shaving. There is another opinion, another leniency, that until Rosh Chodesh Av you can shave. There's no problem with that. But there is even more leniency. You know what? This year, when is Tisha B'Av? On Shabbat, נכון? לא, זה נדחה. On Shabbat. אז אין שבוע שחל בו. So you can shave until Friday. On Friday you can shave. Shabbos obviously you can't shave. Sunday, so 1 day you don't shave. 2 days you don't shave. You see the leniency that there is. Those the leniency if you're looking for leniency. There is a minhagim, everyone should follow his minhag. But it's just about shaving, about the itchiness, about not listening to music, not buying new clothes, not saying Shehiyanu during this time. Even with that there is a mahloket. We'll see that there is a mahloket. But it's not so simple. That Hazal tell us that you can't say there is opinion among the sage and amongst the poskim. Are you allowed to say Shehiyanu during that time, during the 3 weeks, because it's a time of mourning? And if you say Shehiyanu during this time, it's like you're blessing that Has v'shalom, you're looking for something like that. And we're not. So But Hazal tell us that if there is a new fruit, you can say you can keep it for Shabbat. And if a person have a Brit Milah, is allowed to say Shehiyanu. There is all different leniency, but we not get to it. The point is, are we just mourning by not shaving, by not buying a new clothes, or we're doing a counting of the soul to understand what we lost? Like Moti said, the Kedusha, the prosperity that we have, and all the stuff the Bet HaMikdash used to bring us. That's what we have to understand. Those are the most important thing. Hazal come and tell us, and given us a remedy. And where do we read that remedy? In Yom Kippur, Rabota, in Mincha, we read, what do we read in Yom Kippur? The Haftarah of Yonah, Nachon, the Yonah Navi. What's happened there? Did we understand what's happened there? Yonah Navi, being told by the Almighty, by HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to go to city of Nineveh and to tell them, in 30 days, עוד 30 יום נינווה נהפכת. That means that HaKadosh Baruch Hu command the prophet, listen to me, the prophet, Yonah, to go to the city of Nineveh. The city of Nineveh wasn't Jews. Not Yerushalayim, not Eretz Israel. HaKadosh Baruch Hu command him to go there and to tell the member of that city that in 30 days, if you're not going to do tshuva, I will destroy the city of Nineveh. What's happened there? You're not gone. It wasn't easy. Tell us that at the beginning he didn't want. But in the end he gone and he done those missions. And when he told the city of Nineveh, you know what Hazal tell us? Immediately that the entire city start wearing sek. Everyone understand what is sek? Sek in the olden days, that's how they used to carry the fruit, the vegetables. It's so itchy that you have no idea. Immediately when they done tshuva, HaKadosh Baruch Hu forgive him. Entire city HaKadosh Baruch Hu forgive. And there wasn't a Jewish city. It wasn't a Jewish state. How much so if we as a Jewish take what the Rambam say, number one, do accounting of the soul, do hashbon nefesh, sit and think. Number two, do repentance. Number three, regret about what you've done and took on yourself for the future not to do that, what we will get. And then if we do those three things, Rabotai, HaKadosh Baruch Hu definitely will forgive us. And if he forgive us, immediately he build the Bet HaMikdash, nachon? And then the prosperity will come. But I would like to end with something that's more a bit positive. That Hazal tell us something very important. Hazal tell us that Atidim, that means on the future, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu will send Mashiach Tzidkenu in our days. Atidim Yamim Ele, those days, those 3 weeks, Liyot Yemei Simcha, a day of joy, a day of happiness for Israel. That those 3 weeks will have such a joy, such a happiness, we can't imagine. A day of joy, 3 weeks of joy, 3 weeks of happiness. All we have to do, HaKadosh Baruch Hu giving us, as we say, I don't know if you saw it, here in South Africa it's not so popular, but when you play basketball, when they want to break it, a half time, they don't have a half time, they say like this, that means time out. He's given us a time out for 3 weeks. Do hishbon nefesh, accounting of the soul. Sit together. See where you're wrong. Ben adam lahavero, between a man and his fellow friends, between a man and the Almighty. And if we do that repentance between man and his fellow friend, between man and HaKadosh Baruch Hu, then HaKadosh Baruch Hu will definitely build Bet HaMikdash. And then we don't have to mourn. But there's one more thing, and with that I would like to conclude, that Hazal tell us something very interesting. You know, during the time of the siege, Hazal tell us in Masechet Ta'anit that it was 3 rich people in the city of Yerushalayim. And they have enough food, enough wood to outlast that kind of a siege. And then the Roman was probably going to give up, or they're going to get to kind of an agreement. That's what the Gemara explained. Am I right, Stephen?
Yes.
But it was a sect of what we call it biryonim. Biryonim, it means those that didn't agree to peace. They wanted to fight against the Roman. You know what they done? They took all the food, they burned everything that can keep the city of Yerushalayim to survive that siege and not to be starving. And it said that Rabbi Yohanan, that when it happened, gone out and he spoke to the Caesar that was in that time in charge about that siege, or the officer that was in charge, whatever you want to call it. And he said to him, you know, it's not up to us. There is what we call biryonim. In Hebrew, the word biryonim is people that have the force. And they was thinking that they're going to win the war because they're strong. And they forget that they need a Kadosh Baruch Hu. You know what the officer said to Rabbi Yohanan? If you know that there is a snake around a barrel of honey, a barrel of wine, what do? So he said to him, take the axe and chop his head and kill him. And never mind what's happened to the honey, what's happened to the wine. And Hazal asked, why did he say that? Why did Rabbi Yohanan ben Zakkai didn't say, no, you should say that you should take a plier or something long and chop the head of the snake? Why do you have to use an axe? And you know that there's a good chance that you break the barrel. Hazal explained here that during that time of the siege, Rabbi Yohanan and the officer agree that they're going to leave the back door open. And whoever want to run from Yerushalayim have a chance. They're not going to kill him for a few days. And they did. And you know where they ran? To Beitar. Remember, later on. So what does it tell us? That even when HaKadosh Baruch Hu bring on us a decree, He given us a chance. It's up to us. It's up to us, Rabotai, when we in dire strait, when we in problem, to do the good things. And those 3 weeks come to tell us, now it's the time to do tshuva. You know, here in the southern hemisphere, it's winter. In the northern hemisphere, it's summer. It's much more difficult. So for us now, no one go on holiday because there's nothing to do. You know, the beach is empty. No one can sit on the beach. But in Eretz Israel, that now they started the Chofish HaGadol. Am I right, Moti? Start Chofish HaGadol. It's much more difficult. Because there is kids, they have to go on camp. It's not so simple. What do you do with the kids? But us, here, in the southern hemisphere, it's much easier for us. Are we doing Heshbon Nefesh? Are we stopping at least for a minute a day to do Heshbon Nefesh? How can I correct my deeds? How can I change? And let's be honest with ourselves. 1 minute a day, is that too long? If we do that, and we change our deeds, between Ben Adam lahavero, that's mean between man and his fellow friends. Instead of having sinat hinam, everyone understand the word sinat hinam? No, okay? Sinat Hinam, it's a baseless hatred. Instead of that, the Sinat Hinam, let's do Ahavat Hinam. The opposite. Ben Adam lahavero. If we hurt our friend, sorry. It's not so difficult to say sorry. Then obviously, Ben Adam lamakom, between man and the Almighty. If we do those things, and we take on ourselves to change our deeds and not to do them. Rabotai, I forget to mention one important thing. When I say Ben Adam lahavero, Rabotai, remember one important thing. It starts at home with the wife. It starts at home with the wife. How often we throw the words that we shouldn't. So if we see that we done it, sorry, my wife, I really didn't mean it. That's all. If we start at home, we can do it outside. Why? Because we break our pride at home where we are king. And if we can do it at home, we can do it outside. And that's where it started, Rabotai. And we do that at home with our family, with the kids, with the parents. Everything can be changed. And that is the time that HaKadosh Baruch Hu given us 3 weeks to change our deeds. To change our deeds between Adam lahavero, between man and his fellow friends, ben Adam lamakom, between HaKadosh Baruch Hu and us. And we know it. And each one of us doesn't need someone to tell him what is wrong. Each one of us know inside what he done wrong. So the heshbon nefesh that a person has to do, the accounting of the soul, to himself. Do 1 minute a day. And if we do that, Be'ezrat Hashem, we'll see the Mashiach coming speedily in our days, and the Bet HaMikdash will be built, and things going to look different.